dating shows are kind of having a certain impact and what's trending on TikTok? Do we feel like, relationships are kind of going towards that, or,
Yeah, this question's a little bit hard, at least for me, because I feel like it's quite subjective. I think it depends what someone's ideal like dating style is. Like some people prefer or want something casual, like some people want something serious, or like let's say someone's on a dating app and they see that, oh, on their little bio they put like looking for just casual or seeking just fun. I mean, it
Like to skip
depends.
past.
at
Yeah.
least it's transparent, but at the same time, it depends on what you're looking for.
But like
Yeah.
some people, for example, me, like if I were to see something like that, I'm not on dating apps now, but if I were to see something like that, I would like swipe no,
Yeah.
because that's not my style.
Gotcha.
But for a lot of people, like that's their style.
Yeah.
So I think it depends. I mean, in terms of like if I think it's good or if it's bad now, I think definitely for me personally, my style of dating is very more so on the traditional side. And right now in 2025, it's not really
Less
traditional
traditional.
at
So
all.
less
What's
traditional.
traditional?
For me,
Yeah, what's traditional versus modern for you? Because there's traditional versus modern roles. There's also traditionality when it comes to the courting and dating process. For you, what would you say is kind of your preference and your style?
yeah, I think in like the early stages of like dating someone, I think the courting and the pursuing is super essential and like super important.
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, I feel like it does depend on who you are as a person. But for me to speak on my experience, I'm someone that is like very in touch with like my femininity and that side of
Love
me,
that.
and like because I'm so feminine, the person that I'm dating, I want him to be like very masculine. And for me, masculine equals like someone that really values like the courting, the pursuing you at the start, like
Hmm.
treat being an absolute gentleman, like opening doors, making you feel taken care of, making you feel safe, especially in the beginning, because I feel like the beginning stages of relationship, like not only is that the honeymoon stage, but it's like setting the foundation of like what your relationship is gonna look like in the future. So for me, I guess when I say traditional, I think of like how relationships kind of stem from in the past, whereas nowadays, and it's okay, like if this is your style,
Yeah.
but a lot of men and females and people of all genders prefer things such as like 50-50. That's not at all my
And
style.
50-50, clarify like 50-50 when it comes to
Anything.
like financially or pursuit. Like, do you feel like if as a woman, or a person who identifies as a female woman, heterosexual woman, do you feel like you taking the initiative to pursue the man or the guy in the situation? Do you feel like it can work both ways in the pursuit, or do you feel like for you and your style and your preference that you want to be courted completely? Or do you feel like you show the initiative as well too?
No, I think as a woman, it's super important to show interest and be vocal about like you seeing a future in someone, and it's okay to express interest. Like as a girl, as a woman, like you don't want to be like completely so blunt or like play hard to get. I think in the past I've definitely had a more immature way of thinking where I'm like, I want him to chase me or I want him to prove himself to me. But I think I've learned like, okay, there could be maybe like a tiny little bit of that, but as a woman, I think it's essential to not only want to be chosen but also have the strength and the ability, and there's a lot of femininity in you choosing him as well.
Oh, correct. Express what you mean. Express what you may want.
Yeah. So you gotta show that you are also interested in some way if that's what you want. So let me ask this. I think this might be a little tough question for now, as far as the conversations that happen around dating. I'm a little older. I was born in the '80s. Uh, when you ask or when you say that you are looking for someone who is into being more traditional, man being the masculine one, the one who pursues, are you also what are the it comes to the conversation of roles in the relationship. What do you see as the roles of the man and the woman in the relationship?
In a relationship for your preference, yeah.
I think it depends. It depends like how far in you are in the relationship, how early you are in the relationship. I think it's for everyone it's different, and I feel like it's hard to answer this because I think at the end of the day, being in a relationship is like partnership,
And it depends. Yeah.
and like you're gonna lean your head on his shoulder, or I'm gonna lean my head on his shoulder. He's gonna lean his head on my shoulder,
course.
and like there's gonna be eras or seasons in our lives where maybe he needs extra more support, and I'm gonna be like that support for him.
Love
Or
that.
there's seasons or an era where I feel like I need support and I
Yep.
just want a shoulder to lean on. So then it kind of switches.
Definitely.
But
Because I think it's less in the traditional sense of, and even if we're not talking about financially, I think in the like relationally, I definitely think it's not 50-50. It's never really 50-50 in the relational side of it. Because like you just said, to Espi's point, you're going to lean. Some days I'm at 20 maybe. And then she's got to be at 80, let's say. Or, some days, if the person's at 20, then you're at 80 or 70, 30. Or,
Right.
what I mean? Like you just said, you're
Yeah.
going to be leaning on each other. That's a true partnership, regardless of modernality or traditionality
yeah.
of the relationship. You really are going to lean on each other, and it really is a collaborative effort.
Mhm.
So you want to be able to how can I make your day a little bit easier, regardless of, if it's traditional. Some people for traditional roles, maybe folks are, if it's like, kind of the olden days or something like that, if folks are cooking, cleaning, or how folks, it's for them to figure out how that goes.
Mhm.
It's not for any of us to really judge or to put that on folks based on traditionality or modernality. It's really on what works for that couple. For some couples, it works like that, where someone maybe is doing the most bulk of the chores, someone's doing maybe the bulk of the cooking. Maybe both people at least have a job. Maybe one person is the breadwinner. Maybe both people are the breadwinner. I mean, you can still have some traditionality even weaved within modernality. You know what I mean? I really feel like you can. It just depends on what works for those two people.
No, totally. And I love that question too, because a lot of people talk about 50-50. And I think when people hear 50-50, they automatically think or assume like finances. But I also really take into account like emotional, like safety,
Yeah.
Wanting to feel like you're protected. And I think like,
Open space, transparent,
Mhm.
being able to be vulnerable with one another.
no, definitely. So I think that's kind of like where my.
Yeah, perfect.
No, you definitely did. I mean, yeah, because those conversations happen. Because even if in the conversation about being in a traditional relationship, there are different ways in which that can be expressed. So,
Yeah.
again, it could be 50-50 when it comes to finances for some couple. It could be 50-50 on the shared things that you do in the household. It could be 50-50 on day to day, week to week. It just depends on how that, again, like you said,
Yeah.
the couple, those are, I think it's most important overall, just to have them conversations early on.
I think
You know what I'm saying?
I like that question though because it's so like it's a topic that a lot of people debate about. In terms of like 50-50 in finances, the way I see it is like let's say there's a man and a woman in a relationship and it's 50-50. For me personally, my mindset is that there's not really any romance in that. Like it feels like more of like a friendship because it's like when we're going out with friends or we're going out with one of our girlfriends or one of our guy friends or in a group, it's like everyone kind of takes care of themselves or like sometimes we treat each other, whatever it is. Like that to me feels like a friendship more so than a romantic relationship. So
I can give you an example. So for me, I definitely can understand where the mindfulness is like. So we both go out to eat together, and one person, or I'm paying for myself, you paying for yourself. For me, the experience of 50-50 was like, you might got it more than I got it. And what I am taking care of at the household, you might be the person to take care of when we go out and we have these experiences like going to the movies or eating. And then it might switch. Now I'm the person who got a little bit more, and I'm going to be the person who is taking care of this bill when we go out.
In that
And it
form,
changes.
in that type of form, yeah.
Because my experience, my daughter's mom, when we first got together, she has master's degree, but she just wasn't in the job field that she wanted to be in. But she happened to be the breadwinner in our relationship over me. So there were just some things that she had the
initially,
Yeah.
ability to take care of more than me. And then it switched to where I was. And so there's like those ebbs and flows sometimes.
It
And
is,
I feel like 50-50 is not really 50-50, like you said. It's never 50-50. It's really just maybe shared.
Correct.
In some instances.
That's how I see it. I see it as shared. I don't, if people, let's say people, a couple's in a house and they have a mortgage and they have bills and whatnot, depending on their situation financially, and we're not talking about a situation, we're talking about an example of like where one person has a job and the other person just doesn't, and they're taking care of other parts of the household while someone is working. And that doesn't mean working like going out where you got to be going to construction. I'm talking about just working in general. If one person has a specific job and the other person just doesn't at that moment, they're both taking care of things, whether that's the household, which also has to be run and also has to be taken care of, and then also outside of the household. So, and then even very similarly, even with the couples, both people have jobs. At the end of the day, you're just trying to keep the lights on. You're trying to keep the lights on. You're trying to keep bills running and stuff like that. So you're gonna, you're gonna make sure that those things are running.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, however you got to get it done.
No, definitely, and that's why I think I first mentioned so I feel like it's a partnership. It's a team.
Yeah.
It's team effort. It's like some days I'm 80 or 20.
You pick each other up.
Whatever it is. So
And
especially
I
if
feel
it's
like
marriage.
we can even put it simply. Actually, can't.